Hey guys, welcome back to Excuse Podcast. Today is Tuesday, May 2nd, 2023, and I am super excited to be back again. It just started raining. I hear a bunch of thunderstorm sounds going on, so my dogs are going crazy. So it's gonna be the first one's real thunderstorm because it hasn't rained in so long, and he's almost a year old, and he's running around in the garage barking. But I'm so excited to be back again. So I'm here to crash your midweek again. So this past week was pretty busy. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't upload on Sunday. And I think I'm gonna have to make that the new normal for now. Is if I'm too busy to upload on a Sunday, then I'll just do it during the midweek, because that's just kind of been my flow as I've been able to catch up and put the content out for the next episode. So expect a midweek crash or midweek type of episode if I don't hit the Sunday goal. And this is the reason why I didn't hit this Sunday's goal to be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts is because I went to the Nizhoni Days Pow Wow on Sunday, which was freaking fantastic. I had never been before, so it was my first time going, and I was kind of like, not really sure what to expect, but at the same time, I wasn't like, I kind of knew what to expect if you catch my drift. So I've seen, posts on social media, different things, but at the same time, it's like I've never been, so you don't know how it's going to go, but it was freaking awesome. I loved being out there. Everyone was super nice. There was a lot of people dancing and showing off their art, when they're dancing. Showing off their jewelry, selling their jewelry. There was lots of vendors. They had a lot of Native American businesses out there, which is the perfect place, you guys, if you are, really, really, really into being part of the community and supporting Native artists. Just go to one of those powwows. Go to anywhere where they allow vendors, because that's how the vendors make money and that's how they become known. That's how they sell their craft too, and that's their livelihood. So I'd rather buy something authentic, rather than going to another outlet that's not authentic. Let's say a pawn shop, unless of course you have to go, but these are directly from the artists. So that's kind of where I was coming from in that angle. And the crazy thing is too, is like, I didn't expect to pierce my ears, but I pierced my ears. One of my friends was there with me, Hanson. It was my idea to go to the powwow, but it was his idea to get his ears pierced, and I just tagged along and ended up getting mine pierced. And mainly because when I was out there looking at all the artist's jewelry, I was like, oh my god, I want this and I want this. This is cool. Look at this. Oh my gosh. So I couldn't stop myself. So I started buying earrings that I wanted to wear. And then by the time, I got done and everything, I'm like, okay, I'm going with you to go get your ears pierced, because I've had them pierced before. I pierced them back in like 2009, but I got super lazy about keeping it clean, because I was a surfer back in the day. Imagine that. So I used to surf a lot. So when I was in the water, I would have to keep constantly cleaning them. And it just got to the point where it was starting to irritate me. So I only lasted maybe about 2 weeks before I got tired of it. I was like, okay, that's enough of this. And it just closed up. And I remember a few days later, it was probably only like 2 or 3 days later, I tried to put the earring back in, and then I poked it through and it like bled, and it was a big old thing, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm not doing that again. So anyway, I just let it close up and I didn't care. But now, I'm just I got them re-pierced again, and it wasn't anything. For some reason, I was super freaking out about the first time I got it pierced, and then this time I was just like, yeah, it's whatever. It really is. It wasn't too bad. But it was his first time, my friend Hanson, getting his ears pierced, so I was there for moral support. But the thing is about getting my ears pierced, I got them done at Claire's too, at Claire's in the Walmart, because other places were super crazy expensive, and I didn't want to do it myself, but I didn't want to pay an arm and a leg. You know how that goes. But they told me that I can't take the earrings out that's in there for the next 3 weeks at least, and I'm like, I just bought these new earrings from the powwow from these Native artists, and I really, really, really want to go and put them in now. And they were like, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, oh, great. So I have these like turquoise studs that I want to put in, and then I have these like smaller, not smaller, these a little bit larger, longer sterling silver feathered earrings and they're so beautiful. And they were like, oh my gosh, super cheap. I was expecting to pay maybe $60, $70, $50 per earring, but the turquoise studs were 20 bucks, and then the sterling silver feathers were $10. So to me, I got a big old bargain on it. And then I saw this booth that was selling books, and I'm like, okay, great, perfect time to segue into some literature and see what's going on as far as what type of books. It wasn't the actual artists that were there, because I did ask the booth vendors who were sitting there, and I'm not sure exactly where they were from. I didn't even get their name, but I just asked them. I was like, are you guys the artists? And they're like, no, we're not, but we're giving a discount on the books today. And they had 3 books from what I remember, and I purchased one. One I was really, really interested in, and I just wanted to read it and figure out what was going on, because it kind of seems like pieces of the subject that I was touching on inside the podcast early on. It just seemed that that's what type of content was going to be written inside it. So I have a book. It's called Red Nation Rising: From Border-Town Violence to Native Liberation. And it is by a few professors and assistant professors at UNM. And I'm really excited to read it, because it kind of gives, it's not like chapter by chapter like a story. It is a story, but I mean, it's like mainly a look at the Native American reservation, and then it's like it'll have like a word, and then it'll go like into detail about what they're talking about that word, almost like a manual or a glossary or that type of thing. But what really stood out to me too was that not only are these local Native American associate professors at UNM, but the foreword is also by Red Millicody and Brandon Benally. And I'm super excited, because I'm so happy when Native American artists promote, that's the word I'm looking for, promote other artists and other Native American influences in their work, because it all circles back together, and it makes that piece even more credible, at least to me, because not only are these professors, educated, they're also I keep saying using, they're also reaching out and promoting Red Millicody, because she's, of course, she was the Miss Navajo back in, oh my gosh, like 97, 98, a long time ago when I was a kid. And I'll tell you guys that story in a minute, but I was super excited to meet her. But yeah, so I'm like, I love Native artists promoting other Native artists. There's no better way to do it than that. And Red Millicody, she's just an unstoppable force. I cannot say anything bad about her. She's like such a good person. And I wouldn't want to say anything bad about anybody anyway, but I know when people have a past, they don't let it go. And it's just like, everyone makes mistakes, guys. Just, live your best life and applaud the work that she's done. She's always doing something great. But I'm so excited to read this. Once I get done reading it, I may bring in pieces of it into the podcast, because I know there's a lot here that I do want to touch on. And it's just happens that these guys wrote a book about it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So the foreword is by Red Millicody and Brandon Benally, but it has different words in here, like exploitation, and then it'll have like a little, summary about it, and then, structural violence, and then race and charity, property, liberation, land, LGBTQI2S, decolonization, and it just goes on and on and on. And it's like, oh my God, this is exactly what I want to read. So if you guys are looking for an Indigenous book to read that kind of helps self-educate inside the modern day type of issues in Indian country, I think this one's going to be a good read. I'll recommend it now because I know it is, but it just stuck out to me. It was only 17 bucks because I was like, okay, well, let me see, how much it is. And they were saying it was 25 online, but they were like, okay, it's $17. Anyway, I'm super excited about that book. Okay, so let's talk about that little story I was going to tell you about Red Millicody. Okay, so Red Millicody, I was a little kid when my older cousin brother, my late cousin brother Eugene, that was his friend in high school, and they went to high school together, and she became Miss Navajo. And he was like, yeah, I know Red Male Cody. And I used to look up to my cousins and my sisters, like when I was a little kid, of course, of course, because they're older than you. So I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. She's famous. This is awesome. And he's like, yeah, that's my friend. We're going to go meet her and she was doing a function right after winning Miss Navajo. And we were at the Canyon de Chelly, what was that hotel? It's like a hotel restaurant type of thing, Thunderbird Lodge. And I forgot that hotel's name. It's like a chain restaurant. Anyway, I think it was the Holiday. Was it the Holiday Inn? I don't remember. Long time ago. Anyway, so she was there and I got to meet her and I was starstruck and I was like a little kid. I was just like, oh my God, it's Miss Navajo. She's famous. Wow. Oh my God, I'm so like excited to meet her. And that feeling never went away. It just stuck with me my whole life. And to me, whenever I think of Miss Navajo, because she had such an impact when I was a kid, that always stuck with me. So when I think of Miss Navajo, I automatically think of her. And it's really hard for me to, and I don't mean to disrespect anybody at all and who your preference is on a Miss Navajo, but with the platform she was given way back when, I see her using it and making something of herself and bringing to light all these Native American issues. And I just wholeheartedly applaud her and am a big fan because she'll go to the university, she'll do these public speaking events, and she'll explain, the importance of all the indigenous issues that she's learned along the way. And she comes from a background of hardship, so she's using that and turning it into something positive. And those types of people, I'm just like, you are a beacon of light, of hope, of inspiration, and it just melts my heart. And I'm just like, yes, this is what we need. This is exactly what we need in Indian country. So that's my my little fanfare of that story. But so Nizhoni Day Pow Wows was on a Sunday. It was my first time being there. I actually heard about it from when I first had my pre-sale pop-up sale. If that makes any sense. It was like I think it was like a Saturday or Sunday in April when I wanted to test out how things were gonna go. I had a pop-up sale at my house before I went to the Gallup Flea Market, and there was this awesome Native couple, and I believe I touched on it earlier a couple of episodes ago inside the podcast. And this girl, and her name is Ashley, she told me about the Nizhoni Day Pow Wow. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go. And it's crazy because I'd never been before, and you think I would have gone. I've been to the Gathering of Nations, a few times. But, and the Miss Indian pageant and that. But I just never went to the Nizhoni Day Pow Wows. I don't know why. So I decided to go. And it was awesome. It was nice being around everybody. I got there and we were inside one of the lines for Navajo tacos, Navajo burgers, and fry bread. But, halfway through the wait, they ran out. So we had to go and jump another line and get our fry bread. We finally got it. And it was nice and warm. And the weather was gorgeous. It was awesome. It was such a good day. And then, of course, Monday comes around and I'm like, I just want to be outside. I want to be outside doing things. Like I want to enjoy the summer and really just take it all in. And I think maybe it's because winter kind of started, I don't know about you guys, but for me it started late, it seems like. And then it just kind of lingered all the way up until 2 weeks ago. It was cold. And then all of a sudden it, the heat hit and I'm like, I want to be outside. And I'm thinking, okay, where can I go? I want to do these things, go to the lake, go to the beach, I don't know. I'm just getting the summer butterflies to be out and about. So when we were at, when my friend and I were at the Nizhoni Day Pow Wows and we were waiting in line and they told us that there was no more fry bread, we were standing there and then we were like, well, what about Arlene? Doesn't she just rip the fry bread in half and then feed everybody with it? And it was the funniest thing because we were like, just do that. Just rip the fry bread in half. And, from Smoke Signals, I'm sure you guys have seen that movie. It's like a staple in Native American culture. You have to see that movie. But yeah, so this weekend I'm going to, actually the entire month of May and then the rest of the summer, I'm going to be setting up at the Gallup Flea Market on Saturdays, of course, unless there's something big that takes precedence. But yeah, I'm going to be there this coming Saturday. And one of the things that kind of is another thing that's dear to my heart is listening to the customers, listening to the people there. And some people were requesting sugar-free drinks. And one of the things about sugar-free drinks is that I really have to like base it from scratch because I want to know exactly what's in it. So there's certain drinks that I'm going to be coming out with. Of course, it's going to be tea based as well, but it's just going to be without, the boba or the bursting boba. So let's say the refreshers, I'll just do a twist on it with sugar-free alternatives, and then use that and it's going to be summer anyway. It's going to be getting hot. So the refreshers, yes, I'm definitely down with the sugar-free refreshers, or even if it's like the low sugar, just all tea and then nothing but the boba at the bottom, and the sugar alternative, that's a good thing, because I do want to be mindful and sensitive to the demographic, of course, in our community. Our bodies as Native American people don't process alcohol and sugar and fats and that sort as the same as other cultures, because we're Native Americans. Well, not Native Americans, but Navajo in general. That we're an Athabascan nomad tribe, so we follow with the change of the season. So whenever harvesting and gathering is the basis of our cultural niche. So following that, it's like we didn't have too much to worry about when it came to sugar and alcohol and overconsumption of those types of foods. So now it's like our bodies are built differently to handle only a certain amount of things, and I do want to be cognizant of that. So one of the things about the flea market is the networking of vendors. So I'm starting to kind of talk to some of the vendors there, and not to all of them because there's quite a few, but they're super cool. They're so nice, and like the people out there, it just melts my heart when I'm out there, because I see the little native kids that get so excited for the boba, and of course, the parents are like getting them, maybe the unicorn boba, and it's their one treat for the day or for the week, who knows. And they get so excited, and then the vendors are happy to be there. It's just a good time. I don't know how to say it, guys. I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking, if somebody had asked me, would you have been embarrassed, or would you be ashamed, or if they asked me to look back, wherever this business takes me, if they asked me to look back in retrospect to be like, well, you came from the flea market and you first started selling there, what do you think about that? I thought of that over the weekend, just randomly, just driving back to my house after I did that sale, which actually we sold out early. And I already have an answer. I already have an answer for that. And my answer is going to be, I loved it. I still love it. I would still do it again. And there's absolutely nothing wrong about selling in a flea market, because the keh and the kinship that's there is unprecedented. I didn't expect it at all. I just went to go talk to some older guy, some Navajo guy. He was a Che, and I was just like, so how do the spots work? And he was so nice, and he was laying out all his tools that he's collected over the years, and he was just explaining it to me, and he was like, well, I know this from so and so, and I don't know, the spirit there of community is it's awesome. I love it. So I'd be like, if anyone asked me in the future, are you from where you came from, and now you're here, where I'm going to be, I'm just going to be like, well, I'd still do it. I'd do it today if I could, I'm definitely not ashamed of it. It's one of those things where it's like, you got to be there to appreciate it and to see it. And yes, it's a flea market and it's outside, but at the same time, it's like, to me, it's getting right in with the people and really kind of just being a part of the community. And there's nowhere you can do that in, like, let's say a strip mall or a plaza square. It's everything's sectioned off. Each business is sectioned off, and you have to be going there in order to be getting something. for that specific reason, which I'm not ragging on. I'm sure they worked hard to get where they are, but at the same time, it's like, I don't discount the flea market. I know plenty of Native artists, that sell at the flea market, and it's just nothing to be ashamed of. But yeah, I'm so excited to be there. I kind of want to incorporate additional Native American artists and products inside my platform. So if you're interested, let me know and see what I can do to help collaborate, because I do love artists promoting other artists, as I said about the book. So I don't see why I can't do that for somebody else. So just let me know if that's something you're interested in. But I'm excited for this weekend, for the entire summer. I'm super excited. But once I get this book read, I'll give you guys the type of summary and kind of just give you pieces of it. It kind of already is starting to remind me of a certain type of book that my little sister was working with. She didn't write it, but she did write. She did do the cover art, and I think she did she had the book dedicated either to her or she did the foreword. I don't remember what it was, but I remember last year hearing about it from my family. They were saying that my little sister Jedediah Wilson did the artwork for this author in Phoenix. And the author asks my little sister, what do you think of life? What is life to you? And, of course, it's such a big thing. And I remember reading the words, and it was really, really somber and sad. But she said, life is suffering. And however you want to see life, it's like, those are really powerful words from somebody who's going through a lot. So I always want to be sensitive to anybody who's going through anything. And, a lot of things in life, we do suffer a lot in life. But I mean, not to get too down, I just want you to know that you can always turn it around, or see it in a different light. But I'm just proud of her for going through the program she's going through, and, her getting an outlet to express herself, because I think everyone has a voice, and using that voice to say anything meaningful is definitely worth listening to. So that's another reason why I wanted to buy this book too, is because I'm like, oh yeah, my little sister, she has, and I have to find that book that she has, and I'll share it with you guys, that she did the artwork for, because I want to read it too, because she was involved in the art. The author reached out to her for it. So that's one of the reasons why as well. I love reading Native American work. Yeah, I guess that is about it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for letting me crash your week midweek. We'll talk to you guys this Sunday again. I don't have anything planned for Sunday, so I'm definitely going to upload an episode on Sunday. The next one, episode 14. Gosh, we're already on episode 13. I don't know, guys. Sometimes I feel like time is just going by so quick that it's like you wake up and you turn this way and you look this way and you blink, and then all of a sudden 5 weekends have gone by. But have a good, wonderful week. Stay blessed. Don't stress. Here I go rhyming again. And have a good weekend. All right? Bye, guys.